r/AskReddit. What invention is so good that it actually can't be improved upon? Paperclip. Last major patent was in the 1880s. Then how do you explain Clippy? That bastard can go to hell. He just wants to help you. The biggest problem with Clippy was that it frequently stole the focus from whatever you were working on to itself, and therefore broke your flow. If a coworker came along and started looking over your shoulder and talking in your ear when you were struggling and intent on an issue on your workstation, you'd get pissed. Thus with Clippy. The spoon is a pretty incredible invention. It can often sub as a fork or a knife, and it has a great name. Those special self-stabilizing spoons to help people with hand tremors feed themselves are pretty cool. Over-engineered for most people, but I'm happy they exist. I should make a self-stabilizing soldering iron. I have a moderate tremor and I can do most things, but I can't ducking solder. And I'm an electrical engineer. But how do you make one without soldering? Serious reply to a great question. You try a frustrating number of times. It's usually easier to clean up a botched solder than to get it right in one go. The basic sewing needle. It really hasn't changed in thousands of years. There is no need for change. I'd argue that sewing machines are just advanced sewing needles. I still can't figure out how they work. I've seen animations and videos of the mechanics, but my brain refuses to process it, and it looks so simple. Almost too simple. I disagree. I want my sewing needle to have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity. I want to be able to find it remotely in case one gets lost. Also it needs to have a light on it, so I can sew in the dark. I also want it to charge wirelessly as I don't want to deal with cables. Finally, I want an app that lets me connect to it and view stats, like the number of stitches I've made and how many hours I've been using it. Plates. You can get the ones that don't smash. It's too good. Why get those ones when you can get the ones you can smash? Had a roommate once that frequently bought 50-cent plates at the thrift just so he could smash them after dinner. That sounds like a real roommate story, but that absolutely cannot be true. I refuse to let it be true. It's true. We lived together during our 20s with a few other people, so we always were doing something stupid basically. It really was sort of therapeutic lol. I would come home from a long day and he would be already halfway drunk ready to smash some plates. It was a good time in life, haha. The Schrader valve used to inflate your bicycle tires, car tires, tractor tires, etc. Was patented in 1893. It is still used in virtually every tire on the planet. And now you know its name. Jesus Christ, Mary. They are tires. But now there comes the Preston valve, which is not compatible with Schaefer pumps. Why? Presta valves are a lot narrower, don't have check valves, and are made completely out of metal, unlike the rubber plus metal of Schraders. The reason Schrader pumps don't fit is simple. As I said before, Presta valves are a lot narrower than Schraders, although most bike pumps come with adjustable heads to be able to fill up tires with either type. You seem to know a lot about valves. Any idea when Half-Life 3 is gonna drop? Rubber bands. They work. When I was a kid, rubber bands would last for years. Now most of them fail within a year or so. The premium rubber caused wars and mass genocide. I'm fine with cheap rubber that doesn't cause those side effects. The toilet S-bend. We would still be throwing our Hershey soldiers out the window without it. Invented in 1775 and still used today. It was actually improved on. Used to be an actual S-bend, but those would evaporate or could get kinda slurped out by another drain further down. So they made the U-bend. It has a vent pipe running up so that another toilet or sink or whatever on the same drain pipe could not siphon off the trap where the water sits, the low point of the toilet. After the trap gets below a certain level, sewer gas, hydrogen sulfide, gets in and makes the room smell like shit. It's been about 4 years since my plumbing class, but it was pretty memorable. Most professional classical music instruments are already in their final stage like piano and violin. I would argue that there have been innovations there. Someone added pickups and small speakers to a piano, so players could better hear their own playing. The electric violin, the keyboard. Woodwind instruments on the other hand. Oh how I live for the day that synthetic reeds actually replace cane. Lygia is really close, but Van Doren still has them beat, especially on playing feel. Only played back in high school years ago, so not super knowledgeable on the matter. What is the benefit of synthetic reeds surpassing cane ones? They're a lot less fragile, less likely to split during a concert, or when you need them, and for pit musicians who are switching between different instruments constantly it helps, because you don't need to re-wet the reeds when they've been sitting for a bit. The XLR cable. Until they can beam something directly into your head, we kind of hit a dead end for perceived sound. The simplicity of what a cable can do, by allowing both AC and DC power to flow through, so you can power and draw signal from a microphone. Plus the fact it's so simple to remove the noise you get from outside interference makes it even more genius. Phantom power. The wheel. What are you going to do? Make it rounder? Well, they put a tire on it. But it's still just a circle. A circle that allows some vehicles to achieve speeds of over 400 km per hour and still be in control. Try that with a wagon wheel. I'd say nail clippers. Rich and poor people all use the same thing to clip their nails. Rich people pay poor people to clip their nails for them. And those poor bastards use the same nail clipper the other poor bastards use. Those bones they use for tanning leather. People have tried using all sorts of different materials, but bone always works best apparently. Yeah, if I remember it correctly from my college classes, those weren't created by humans. Like, what? It was a tool created by Homo erectus I believe, but it does predate anatomically modern humans. Homo erectus boning. I'm just not mature enough for this conversation, I'm sorry. I remember reading about archaeologists wondering what these particular bone tools were used for, and it was a mystery for years, maybe decades, not sure, and one happened to mention it to a friend, who was a tanner who took one look, told them what it was, and grabbed an almost identical one, still bone, out of their tanning toolbox for comparison. The steam turbine. It is such a useful way to convert heat into electricity that it would not be surprising to see one strapped to a fusion reactor if one ever get built. They're already strapped to fission reactors. That's pretty good, I'd say. Yeah, the steam turbine inventor was way ahead of his time. He really was a visionary. Seeing as how the steam turbine is still the main secondary side of power generation and is currently used with nuclear fission, makes sense. Zipper. Best way to merge in traffic. Yes. It's meant to be a zipper you duck, learn to drive. Perhaps 2, maybe 3 times in my life, it has been my privilege to participate in a perfect multi-car zipper merge. Cars enter the highway. Both lanes look at each other and align. Then all at once, the cars on the right merge smoothly left, and exiting cars merge smoothly right. It was beautiful. P-trap. A simple, elegant way to prevent odor from coming into your house via sink, toilet, etc. A lot of Asia still doesn't use this. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. The pocket. Girls' pants have entered the chat. Seriously, don't know why you guys are denied the convenience of pockets so often. Pocket real estate is a critical decision in my pants buying. If I get a pair of pants with less than 3 pockets, it's absolutely infuriating. I present to you the zippered pocket, like a pocket but more secure. You. Thanks bro, you too. Pizza. You can change it up, you can ruin it, and you can fold it half like a crazy calzone munching madman, but you can't beat perfection. You can add pineapple to it. Fire cooking. We've been trying to improve it for almost 2 million years. God, I hate electric stoves. I hate electronic stoves, but love electric ovens. Yup, gas cooktop and fan forced electric oven is perfection. Hoodies. Cold. Hoodie. Underdressed. Hoodie no bra. Hoodie hot. Hoodie rainy. Hoodie dead inside. You know it, hoodie. I disagree with hot. Hoodie. May, hoodies are cool. That mini trident you use to scratch your back, man, that's the best invention of human race. I don't know man, the lightsaber under my mom's bed was really nice when I used it as a back massager. The brick. It has been made of mud, then mud with straw, then mud with clay, then finally with clay alone. That is as far as progress has taken the brick in the, guess, 8,000 years since it was invented, and it is still in use today. Someone, lost in the obscurity of ancient history, realized that you couldn't build really strong stone structures with irregularly shaped small natural stones, and hewing huge lumps of stone into regular shapes was just ridiculously hard work. That person also observed that mud that fell into a fire was left hardened when the fire died down. So they figured that, if you shaped mud into regular shapes, big enough to carry one in each hand, you would have all the advantages of small irregular stones and large geometrically carved stones, but with none of the drawbacks of either. This thought must have taken a second to dawn on the inventor. The practical work to prove the concept must have taken a weekend, at most. Perhaps a week or two to get the shape just right. And here we are, thousands of years later, and the damn thing has barely changed at all. The hollow concrete block is a major improvement. It's way more widely used around the world. Does cheese count as an invention? Yep. It's the final step of a specialized process. The specialized process of forgetting milk for a while. A really good grilled cheese sandwich. Some good bread, with good butter, some good cheeses, with some heat and attention. God damn, it's ducking delicious. Chopsticks. Talk about consistency, it has been the same way for I have no idea how many years. But can you imagine a Bluetooth chopstick that can play music? When will the chopstick companies get it together? Would it play chopsticks? No, chop suey. Windshield wipers. My engineering professor always lectured us on how perfect the design is, and how the new changes made are strictly aesthetic, and don't work any better. Until they invent one that cleans the whole window instead of just parts of it. Easy fix. Make the windshield in the shape that the wipers wipe. Ravioli. How else you gonna encapsulate cheese inside a noodle? Pierogi. They are a type of Polish dumpling. They are like ravioli, except you pan fry them instead of putting them in sauce, and a wider variety of fillings.